everyone. This is your host, Deanna Kuempel of Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. As you can see, we have another in-person episode for you. I am super excited. I absolutely adore these men that are sitting right here. They've been very impactful in my life. I've done some independent projects with them, and I thought they were great candidates to be on my show. So I'm going to introduce Mark and David Schumann. They are brothers. Mark has the Schumann legal side, and there's a division called Motorcycle Safety Lawyers, and they do a lot for the community. They care so much about their clients, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that and why I say that. I've seen firsthand here with their team. Mark, I'm going to start with you. Can you introduce yourself, tell the audience a little bit about your background, and all that good stuff?
Thank you. Well, thank you for the nice words, first of all. I am Mark Schumann. I practicing law here in Chicago for 35 years. Can't believe that, by the way. I have no idea how that happened. We do personal injury of all types: car, heavy motorcycle, truck, accidents, any type of slip and fall, premises injuries. We also do a lot of work injuries, any on-the-job injuries. And we represent the injured people fighting the big bad insurance companies. We're the good guys with the white hats fighting the bad people. And we get people compensation when they're hurt. And really fight to get them their benefits.
Yes. And now this is David Schumann, his brother. David runs the motorcycle safety division of Schumann Legal. David, can you please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little about your background?
Hi, David Schumann. I do run Motorcycle Safety Lawyers, a division of Schumann Legal. I started riding back in 1978. Used to go visit my brother. I learned to ride in DeKalb, Illinois, and would ride to Champaign-Urbana to go visit my brother in my shorts, Northern Illinois gym shorts, and a pair of gym shoes. And I think
a sight to behold, by the way.
Yeah, I bet.
And sunglasses.
Nice. So. Okay. Well, don't you know you're supposed to cover your legs because in case something happens?
That was taboo in those days.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so I used to ride my own bike, and so I love motorcycles and all that good stuff. I'd love to have a bike again. But you guys actually are a great team. That's what I've noticed, working with you independently on some stuff. But I also love the fact that you're so involved in the community and all the charity work that you do. You've done a lot of fun giveaways that I've been able to be a part of. And I just really want to kind of highlight those things and maybe just talk about, and we're going to talk about the Schumann legal side. And so like I said, I've done some independent projects, and I still do. And I had the opportunity to interview a lot of their team here in this firm, and I have to say I have never heard in any place of work where all the employees had the same exact thing to say, and I could tell that it wasn't rehearsed. They said they loved working here, that the firm and the lawyers really care about their clients, and they always go above and beyond to make sure that their clients are taken care of. Now, for me, that's huge, number one, to never hear that in a place of work. But also a law firm, which is probably even more unheard of. So I was moved by that, and I was like, wow, I just love it. I'm so glad I get to work with you guys, and I thought that this would be a great opportunity to talk to you and just tell us a little bit about your experience and why it's so important to you to take care of your clients.
I think it first starts with our firm culture. We really try to get people who care, who are conscientious, who do a good job and want to help the clients. We're very client service focused. It is all about the clients, and we're all about customer service. It is a service business, and keeping up with the clients, making sure that they're getting their proper benefits, especially on work injuries where they're paying the benefits as you go. And on the auto cases, making sure that they get the proper treatment, and ultimately making sure they get proper compensation for their injuries. Most people that come to us have never been through this before. They have no idea what to do. They have no idea what to expect. And they really want some guidance and help. And we try to be there for them all the way through, treatment-wise, and answering all their questions and really taking the pressure off so that they can just focus on getting better, and we handle everything else. And then ultimately, we're there to fight for them to get them the compensation. And also, we are very involved in the community, especially when COVID hit. Yeah. People were really hurting, and we've done we did things before COVID, giving information out to the public and giveaways, promoting safety in different ways. But specifically, when COVID hit, we first did a program on our Facebook called Serving Those Who Serve Us. and we asked people to nominate first responder groups and nominate local restaurants. And what we did is I went and I bought a meal from a local restaurant, gave them a nice tip to support them because they were really hurting at the beginning of COVID. And we went to, over the course of 6 months, 6 different hospitals, mostly either COVID intensive care units or ER units. We fed the entire Northwestern emergency room staff of 75 people. Gino's East pizzas, thick and thin pizzas. We had a whole stack of pizzas.
Chicago's favorite guys.
Yeah, we were all over the place. We were at Mount Sinai Hospital. We did the COVID intensive care unit. Mount Sinai. We were at the VA hospital. David will talk about. We do a lot of stuff with veteran groups. We were at Maywood, at Loyola Hospital in Maywood. We were all over the place. St. Joe's and Joliet, all from different restaurants. And I know they really appreciated the little boost, the restaurants, because they were closed except for takeout.
Yeah.
And I know the first responders also. We fed over 300 first responders.
That's amazing.
And that was one. And we did another big initiative where we had a meat purveyor that we actually fed 1,000 people in Plainfield, 250 families of 4 at Three Rivers Church in Plainfield. We had a lot of local businesses that donated side dishes. We had pork chops to feed families of 4. We put a lot of money into it to make this all pull this off. But and people pulled up to the church, and we put the shopping bag in their car with bottles of water and side dishes and the whole meal. And then we fed 1,000 people. And again, Plainfield's a poor community, and I know they really appreciated it. The pastor was very appreciative. It was a great event, and so we try to do things in the community. And beside that, we also do things like you were involved, and we give away a motorcycle helmet and safety kits. Right.
Socks, tickets.
So again, that was promote motorcycle safety. We awarded for construction safety. We gave away 4 socks tickets and a parking pass. Last year we gave away a bicycle and bicycle helmets to promote bicycle safety. So we're always doing something in the community where we're giving posts about safety and things like that. So yeah, we're very involved, not only taking care of clients but doing nice things for we try to give back a lot.
I think that's very important. I see that aligns with what I'm all about, and I think that what we put out there in the universe, ultimately we're here to serve others, right? And that's why I love what you guys do.
Thank you.
Don't worry, he's not dying. He's just got a little cough, you guys. Don't worry. It's all right. Okay?
Sorry.
No COVID. There's no COVID. There's nothing.
I was tested. I'm clean.
We got to throw that in there real quick.
Yeah.
No, it's been an absolute joy, and it's been awesome to be a part of a lot of your different projects, and I love seeing what you guys do and the impact that you make. But you also, we're going to have to go to a quick commercial break here soon, but I want to say this before we do. You also are happy to go in and talk about and educate on insurance, or just what that means to make sure people have the right coverage, especially with motorcyclists, correct?
I do, and we've spoken numerous groups. I've found in doing this for 35 years, there are so many people that don't have enough insurance, and they get in these terrible accidents. And the problem is, if they get hit by someone with no insurance or very low insurance, and they have low insurance, that's what they're stuck with. So Illinois, for example, has $25,000 minimum coverage. We've had death cases where there's only $25,000 of coverage, and it's horrible. And the motorcycle cases specifically, because the truth is, most of them are bad injuries. Car versus motorcycle, car wins every time, and it's usually a bad injury. And we've had numerous cases over the years where we have these terrible injuries and not nearly enough insurance coverage. And so I'm very passionate. I speak to groups. I educate them about what proper coverage is, all the different parts of the insurance policy. I give free reviews to anyone who calls me, texts me, anyone I can get my hands on. And I don't sell insurance, so I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm literally trying to educate the public so that if they, God forbid, get into a bad accident, that they are protected, and they can protect not only themselves, protect their family. If someone can't work for a year, they have to have proper coverage, or they could literally, it could devastate them financially. So, yes, and I speak to my other clients too in car accidents, and I've had cases where I had one specifically where I had a flight attendant who had a bad accident, had shoulder surgery, only had $25,000 of coverage, had the same speech. I talked about getting more, and a year and a half later, she got rear-ended again and blew out her other shoulder. And, poor lady said, you got a target on your back, you poor thing. But she had $250,000 of coverage this time, and I got her $246,000 settlement, and she called me her guardian angel because, but for that conversation after the first case, she would have gotten 25 again. And she was a flight attendant who couldn't work for a year because under FAA guidelines, you have to be able to lift 40 pounds over your head, and she couldn't work for a year. So this was life-changing for her. So it's just one example, and why I just talk to everybody I can get my hands on and try to educate them.
I think that's amazing. You guys, we're going to take a quick break so you can listen to a word from our sponsor. Excuse me, I can't talk today, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, Deanna here with Label Free Podcast. Are you a six-pack kind of guy or a dad bod kind of guy? Either way, our friends at Manscaped have the fellas' hairy bodies covered. They just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. That's right, you heard that right, 4.0. Trim from the leaders in male grooming, so the man in your life can join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code LABELFREE20. That's right, 20% off with free shipping with the code LABELFREE20. So head on over to their website, manscaped.com, and pick up something for yourself, the man in your life, whomever that might want to benefit from keeping everything nice and tight for the summer. Hey, you guys, this is Deanna Kuempel, Label Free Podcast. Welcome back to the show. We're here with Mark Schumann and David Schumann with Schumann Legal and also motorcycle safety lawyers, a division of Schumann Legal. We've been talking about what they do. They're passionate about helping the community. They're passionate about doing safety and educating about insurance and all that great things. So before the commercial break, we did ask Mark about how he goes in and he talks and educates around insurance and having the right coverage. And so I just wanted to ask you really quick before we move on to David. Is there anybody that can contact you, any type of group that wants you to come in and educate them and talk about insurance and making sure they have the right coverage?
Absolutely. I know specifically with motorcycles, we talk to motorcycle groups because a lot of them have monthly meetings.
Sure.
And I've been to a bunch of monthly meetings and had a conversation with all of them. And usually if they know in advance, they'll tell people, hey, bring your policy, Mark will talk to you.
Right.
And usually half dozen or so will sit down and I'll go through them one by one. I tell everyone exactly what I'm looking for, but the people, and then I'll look at their policies individually. But sure, anyone can call me and email or fax me their information. I will be glad to go through it with them live and tell them exactly what they should be looking for and what they should have. And I've seen a bunch that have, even the motorcycle specifically, where they've had, for example, one of the big name policies, and they've had $250,000 of liability coverage, which would protect them if they caused an accident, protect the other people. But they had no uninsured motorist coverage, which means if someone hit them with no insurance, they would get zero.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't know it, by the way, because the agent never told them, and they were shocked. And actually, 2 people that had the same coverage on 2 different days of people I talked to, and they went on the app and were able to fix it. But that could again be life-changing,
sure.
because of
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a motorcyclist performer. I mean, I haven't ridden in a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't know that if I was to go get an insurance policy now. And real quick, one more question.
Yeah.
What is the difference in cost for someone to increase their policy to make sure that they have that coverage just in case?
Shockingly low. The minimum coverage in Illinois is $25,000 per person. To go from the next level is $50,000, and then the next level is $100, and then $250. To go from $25 to $100, it's literally pennies per day. It could be $30 or $40. It's crazy. And the reason why I tell people, statistically, chances are you're not going to get into an accident. So it's not double or triple or quadruple to get quadruple the coverage.
Right.
It's penny, but insurance companies don't want to volunteer that to you because they're on the hook for 4 times the coverage. So the agents are trained not to, if you ask them, they have to tell you, but if they would just as soon sell you a $25,000 policy, because then if you get in a $1 million accident, they only owe you $25,000.
Right.
So, for motorcyclists, for example, I strongly encourage that they should have no less than $250,000. Everyone else should have no less than $100,000, and the 25s is just not going to cover you in a serious accident.
Well,
So,
especially these days.
especially
You
these
never
days.
know what's
Right,
gonna happen.
right.
So you guys just make a mental note of that, and to reach out to Mark, you can go to www.schumannlegal.com. Go ahead and send them a message there. Call them. They're very friendly. The whole staff here is more than willing to help you. So I highly encourage you, if you have a group that's interested in that education and having him come in and talk, don't hesitate to reach out. You can even reach out to me because I do work with these wonderful gentlemen, so I would even get the message to them. So now we're going to switch over to David here. David and I actually work a lot more together in our day-to-day stuff. He oversees the motorcycle safety lawyer division, and it has been awesome to watch all the different charities that you're involved in, all the different rides that they do, just out there really promoting I think there's one coming up for the Ride for John tomorrow against opiates,
Right.
opiate awareness, and just Ride for Animals was last weekend. Just always involved in some kind of charity and just being really part of part of that community. So can you talk to us a little bit about what made you start, or collectively start Motorcycle Safety Lawyers and what that means to you?
Well, it's interesting that Mark's handling of motorcycle cases for over 35 years was a best kept secret. And a group that we've been working with on improving marketing and training brought up the subject of motorcycles. And excuse me, through that, we decided to join the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers as a founding member. And that group is law firms all over the country that specifically handle motorcycle accidents. And I just found out today, we had our monthly call. We have a meeting coming up in Vegas. Of course, that's easy for me. But we have a meeting in Vegas in February where we're actually spending 3 days discussing specifics about motorcycle accidents and all kinds of components of the case and how to handle the different aspects in a motorcycle case. So as member firms, we share a lot of information with each other.
Yeah.
And there's also the whole marketing side of things
Sure.
as well. And they got us started, and then all kinds of things happened. We got a little busy.
Yeah.
We have 186 events this year.
It's a lot.
It's a
You're
lot.
busy. You're a
We're
busy
very
man.
constantly. So with that, we decided, following the theme of what we were doing on the Schumann legal side, our dad was in the Air Force. We have a strong feeling about the military, and we were supporting veterans in our personal charity donations
Sure.
and things, and so we decided to take that to another level.
Yes.
And so we got involved with with Marseilles, which is the Illinois Freedom Run, which goes to the wall, it's Middle East Conflicts Wall in Marseilles. That was like the first thing that we did in getting involved.
So how long ago was this?
Well, that started, we really didn't start marketing to tell the world. We had the yellow pages, and it would say bicycle accidents, dog bites, motorcycles,
Yeah.
buses, whatever, slip and fall. And that was how we marketed. We never
Sure.
told it. The real marketing started about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so that's when we started going into the motorcycle community and attending events. We have motorcycle events almost every day of the week. Sometimes we have many in one day, but it just depends. So there are things that we do as a standard. Every Thursday we're at Brower House in Lombard, and every Wednesday we're going to Sugar Skulls. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago they were damaged by a fire next door and currently are out of business. We are heavily involved with Motovlog.
Just really quick, which they did do a fundraiser to support them and help them get them back on their feet.
2 weeks ago.
Yes, 2 weeks ago, which says a lot about what they do, how they operate as a team collectively, and how they feel about giving back to the community.
Absolutely. So we got involved with the annual Suicide Awareness and Prevention Run. Sean Nicias put that together. He's former Army. Actually was texting me today. So it's something that he's passionate about. He lost several friends that he went to battle with. And he has his own issues sometimes with PTSD and the like. We got involved. I'm actually now on the board of directors for War Dogs Charity Riders. And they specifically buy rescue dogs that are then trained to go to first responders and veterans who have PTSD or TBI. So that's just another one on that list. And then, of course, we have involvement with Chicagoland Toys for Tots. And, that's Marine started that, collecting toys for children. Then we got involved with the Ride for John. And Ride for John is about children who have died from opiates. And fentanyl is one of the biggest problems. And so the folks that started this, they lost their son, John, like 6 years ago. The ride's gone on for 5 straight years. We have over 200 bikes in this ride, and then there's a big giant concert in Carroll Stream tomorrow. They're expecting like 650 people. There's 2 bands. I'm kind of excited about it.
Huge.
One's going to be a Led Zeppelin tribute band that
Oh,
works
boy.
perfectly for me, and the second one will be the Doors. So that'll be kind of interesting.
The Doors, yes.
I'm looking forward to that. And last week I was with Gina Woods, and we were working Brower House, and then we had some meetings and stuff, and we went and actually went back to Brower House because they had a puddle of mud.
Oh, very cool.
That was a lot of fun.
I bet.
Anyway, there was a Dash for Nash last week. There's another child who has some very rare diseases and stuff. And so that was another charity out of Woodstock, Harley Davidson, to raise money. And you mentioned, we did the Anderson Humane. So that was a lot of fun. So that
You cover all the bases.
well, those are, kids, drugs, veterans.
Yeah.
That's been
Animals.
and animals.
Yeah, I love it. You're always giving back. You guys also do, even though Schumann Legal does the helmet giveaway, did the stocks tickets.
That was
giveaway.
combined.
It was combined, right? Okay. From a
It was
marketing-
Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month.
Right. Okay, that's true. So yeah, let me say that. But you guys do a huge giveaway once a year, giving out about $20,000 to a motorcycle of the winner's choice. Correct?
This
That's
is year
correct.
year 3 for that. So
Year 3.
every year, but it started out by originally it was a Harley specific Harley FXDR 2019, and then there were some people. Well, I don't like Harley. I like a BMW. Okay, so the second year it was a Harley or $20,000 for any bike you want, and then we morphed it into $20,000 any bike, any model you want, which is great. And so our national group is all involved. So and we go to events. People sign up, and the good news is it's free. There's no tricks. It's a free raffle, and the first guy that won it was a guy from Schaumburg a couple of years ago. And the funny story was David called him to say he won the bike, and he hung up on him. He had to call him back a second. He thought it was a crank call. He forgot that he signed up in a motorcycle event, and so he had to call him back a second time. And he actually did win, and a big old smile on his face. And it's on our webpage, Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. You can see his picture.
Mike Kroc.
Yeah, nice guy.
I just saw him at the Anderson Humane
very
ride.
cool.
He was there.
On his bike.
He came up to me. Yeah,
On his
on his
motorcycle.
Harley.
Yes.
That he won.
So-
He came up to say hello. It was very nice.
But the other big thing, beside all these events that David talked to, one of the big things they do as part of our motorcycle safety lawyers is we sponsor these accident scene management classes. And so, for people that don't know, it's actually an 8-hour course taught by road guardians. And it teaches people what to do if they're on a group and someone's in a terrible accident and they're waiting for first responders. It could literally be life-saving measures: how to move someone off the road safely, how to roll them over, how any possible
Really
put a tourniquet.
helpful in almost any situation.
It can, and the people that run it have actually talked about over the years that it has saved lives. It can make a difference. Instead of standing there freaking out, you can actually do things that can potentially save someone's life. And there's even in it, so you get a certificate. It's a practical course. They teach you, and then you get on the floor and you do it.
Yeah.
You're not just listening; you're actually doing it. And there's
Like a CPR class.
so the class, it's much more than CPR. There's some CPR element. You're learning a jaw thrust, but there's so many other things that are involved. A tourniquet or pressure bandage. There's how to remove a helmet safely. It takes 2 people, and there's all kinds of other safety issues over and above CPR that the course has. And then if you take an advanced class, we also sponsor the advanced course, which is another 8-hour course for people that have taken the first course and get it even into more detail. So it's
More
awesome.
breathing.
All kinds of techniques that are real practical. And so we sponsor the class. The class,
Class is $150. That includes the instructor, the classroom. You get your workbooks. You get a certificate of completion. You get a patch. You get a catered lunch, courtesy of Motorcycle Safety Lawyer. Drinks all day. A swag bag of motorcycle goodies, and the cost to the student is $35. We pay the rest.
It's amazing.
Right. So we've taught some motorcycle groups can bring. We've had a couple whole groups that want to bring their whole together, or people could sign up individually. We try to do it all over the state. We can go on the website and sign up, and it's usually 20 or 25 people in a class, so that it's small enough that it's hands-on.
Yeah.
And people that have done it, every single person that has taken it. David and I have both taken the beginner and the advanced
I
class.
saw the videos.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, it can apply to anything, but if someone's hurt, but specifically motorcycle riders, and everyone who's taken it they feel so much empowered after taking it that they could make a difference if they're in a terrible
I want to
situation.
take it now.
So that's one of the things.
It's
So that's
totally
another way,
worth it.
that we're getting out there in the community. We're trying to educate motorcycle riders. Teaching insurance, sponsoring the class, supporting the different rides.
Yes.
and just trying to give back in a nice way. And it's not all about cases. It's about, of course, we can handle a case if someone gets hurt, but we're really trying to help prevent it, help minimize it, make sure they're covered, and just teach them about safety.
People ask, why would you do all these things for the community when you're going to hurt your own business? And the answer is, with today's distracted driving,
Right. Yeah, that's a good
there'll
point.
always be motorcycle accidents.
Yeah.
Someone's texting on their phone, they blow a stop sign or traffic signal, and they T-bone somebody. I mean, it happens all the time, and it's because of distracted driving.
Yeah. I love what you guys do, and we're going to, before we start wrapping things up, you can go enter the drawing at motorcyclesafetylawyers.com. You can find out more about the class, when they're going to have those. I think that the season is over, but take a look at the events, and they can find out where all the different rides that are going on, all the different events that they're a part of, and just see how great these guys are making an impact on the community. So I always like to end the show with some final words of wisdom or advice. So Mark, I'm going to start with you. So what final words of wisdom or advice would you like to leave with the audience before we say goodbye?
Well, I really think the first thing is people should look at their insurance and make sure you have enough insurance. Minimum coverage is not enough. I've had people tell me, especially with motorcycles, I have an old cheap bike, so I just got the minimum coverage. You're not trying to cover your bike, you're covering your life. And you really have to think about if someone rear ends you, for example, and they have no insurance, or they have $25,000 of insurance, and you have a terrible injury, what are you going to do? And for pennies, you could really give yourself some peace of mind, especially if you don't have good health insurance. But you can get, at least $100,000 of coverage, and probably $250,000, especially if you have kids, if you're a working person, if you've got any assets. You really want to protect yourself and get uninsured motorist coverage. So that's if everyone who listens to this did that, be much better off, because so many people don't do that.
I love that. David, how about you?
So I want to say, invest the 8 hours or 16 hours and get the education to know how to save your loved one or your friend's life. God forbid they go down when you're on a ride. You don't know how long it's going to take. It could be 10 minutes. It could be a half an hour in some places before first responders can arrive on the scene. And if they can't breathe, you could fix that problem. You have those skills when you take these classes. And I want to say, and these are albums we now have available, watch out for motorcycles.
Yes, amen to that. I'm very cautious on the road. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll have to do another one and just kind of update the audience of what other great things you guys are doing. I know that I've thoroughly enjoyed being a part of your team and these different projects, and I thought you guys are definitely stepping out of the box and don't really have any labels per se on you, so that's why I thought you'd be a great guest for the show. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow, all those good things, and I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.